Reality broke character again today, and it wasn't a scriptwriter or a TV courtroom meltdown. It was the people running the real federal courts, and the fallout is hitting one of the most powerful prosecutor jobs in the entire country. Welcome to Why It's Trending Daily. I'm Hank, and this is where I break down the stories that everyone is suddenly Googling, and I explain to you why they matter. The name driving all of this is Alina Habba, the Trump loyalist who was elevated to the role of U.S. attorney in New Jersey, and who is now stepping down after a federal appeals court upheld a ruling that she was serving in that role unlawfully. Now, here's what actually happened. Habba took over the U.S. Attorney's Office in August, becoming the first of several Trump-installed prosecutors to be disqualified by federal judges for serving past the expiration of their interim appointments without Senate confirmation. Now, her team had expired, judges installed her first assistant, Desiree Grace, into the role, and the Trump administration responded by firing Grace and reappointing Habba under a different title, Special Attorney. But judges, well, they didn't accept that workaround. District judges ruled that she lacked legal authority. Then a panel from the Third Circuit Court of Appeals agreed, upholding her disqualification and stating that her appointment violated the statutory requirements for U.S. attorney positions. Now, Habba, well, she could have remained in the job while the Department of Justice appealed the decision to go to the Supreme Court. The administration had that very option. Instead, she announced today that she'd be stepping down to protect the stability and integrity of the office, which I love. I love that too. Now, she emphasized that compliance should not be mistaken for surrender and made it clear that she intends to return if the ruling is in fact overturned. But she's not leaving the government. Within hours, Attorney General Pam Bondi said Habba would transition into a newly created position, senior advisor to the Attorney General for U.S. attorneys. Bondi also stated that the DOJ would seek further review of the appellate ruling, meaning the administration may still take this fight to the Supreme Court. Now, here's where this situation expands beyond New Jersey. Habba is not the only Trump-installed U.S. attorney who has been disqualified. Judges in the Los Angeles area, Nevada, and Virginia have ruled similarly, finding that those appointments also violated the law once the interim terms officially expired. In Virginia, the consequences were even more sweeping. A federal judge disqualified Lindsay Halligan, another Trump-installed appointee, and her disqualification resulted in politically charged cases being thrown out, including cases brought against New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. And this fight is, well, spreading. In upstate New York, a judge is now considering whether to disqualify yet another Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, suggesting the legality of these appointments is an unresolved national issue. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is publicly accusing some judges in the Eastern District of Virginia of showing bias and hostility toward Halligan and prosecutors in that office. So tensions between the judiciary and the administration are no longer subtle. They are, in fact, fully exposed. Back in New Jersey, Habba's short tenure has already created turmoil before her resignation. Judges questioned her authority, criminal proceedings slowed, and even civil cases were disrupted. Months of legal uncertainty have affected how cases were filed, how prosecutors operated, and how the courts managed ongoing dockets. Now, Habba's office also became embroiled in high-profile clashes with Democratic elected officials. She filed assault charges against Representative LaMonica McIver during a chaotic scene outside of a detention facility back in May. McIver pleaded not guilty and said the charges were politically motivated. A judge declined to dismiss the case, but McIver is still expected to appeal. Now, Habba's office also charged Newark Mayor Ras Baraka in relation to the same incident, then later dropped the charge, a move a magistrate judge called a worrisome and embarrassing misstep. As for the administration's view, Trump weighed in today from the White House, of course, blaming Democratic senators for blocking nominees and claiming he can't appoint a Republican U.S. attorney in states where Democrats control Senate approvals. He said that if necessary, he will keep appointing people for 3 months, then another one, and another one, referring to the interim appointment system. So, I guess the question is, what does this all mean moving forward, right? Well, you now have a federal appeals court ruling that the administration's method of appointing U.S. attorneys is unlawful. You have multiple judges in multiple states disqualifying Trump's appointees. You have the Justice Department creating new advisory roles to keep these individuals in government even after disqualification. And you have prosecutors, defendants, and courts across the country dealing with instability in cases that depend on lawful appointments. In other words, the legal system is trying to operate while half its leadership is being declared invalid in real time.